Welcome to Coach Taylor's class notes, and today we're going to review writing equations from a graph. We talked about this last unit, and we're going to start with it this first unit. So this unit's all going to be about writing equations and writing different versions and different forms of equations. So first we have to remember our slope-intercept form. Our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This is the way that we always want to write our equations because it's easy to graph. We understand all the components and everything like that. Our rate of change is our slope. It's our m. It's our rise over run. And then finally, our y-intercept is our b, or where the line crosses the y-axis. And so those are all the things that we need to remember to be able to write an equation from a graph. So our first step is always going to be find our y-intercept. Once we find our y-intercept, we need to find our slope. And then once we have those two, we can plug it into y equals mx plus b. So let's look at this first line right here. So our slope, where the line crosses the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. So our y-intercept is going to be -2. The next thing that we have to do is we have to find a corner where the line hits a corner of the graph. And as I'm going down my line, I don't see any corners. So now I need to go up my line and find, that's where it meets a corner. So when I'm looking at slope, what I'm noticing real quickly is that my line is going downhill. And because my line is going downhill, it's going to be negative. So it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our rise or our up and down movement is going to be 5, and it's going to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. So our slope is a -5/4. So now we need to plug our information into y equals mx plus b. And a quick reminder, our y and our x are just variables. They're always going to stay y and x. So it's going to become y equals, we said our slope is a -5/4. We said we always put our x after the slope, and then our y-intercept is next. So y equals -5/4 x minus 2 is the equation of that line. All right, so let's look at our next one. So our next one, our y-intercept is right there. So our b is a +3. And again, we need to find our slope. And so I can't tell if that line going up touches a corner. So I need to go down, and there we go. I find that corner right there. As I'm looking at my slope, I notice it's going uphill, so it's going to be positive. It goes up 2, and it goes to the right 1. And we can simplify 2/1 as simply 2. And so now we need to write our equation in y equals mx plus b. We're going to leave our y and our b, or our y and our x, I mean. So it's going to become y equals, our slope is a +2. Then we write down our x, and then finally we write +3 because that is our y-intercept. And so the equation of that line is 2x plus 3. All right, next we're going to look at this line right here. We need to find our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is -4. I notice very, very quickly that my slope is negative because it's going downhill. This is my next closest corner of the graph. I go down 1, 2, 3. We're going to go over to the right 1, so our slope becomes 3/1, which simply becomes a -3. And again, now we need to write our y equals mx plus b equation. So it's going to be y equals, our slope is a -3. Then we write our x, and our b is a -4. So y equals a -3x minus 4. All right, so now let's look at this line right here. So we need to find our y-intercept, not our y equals, sorry, our y-intercept. So if I notice, this line does not touch the y-axis, so our y-intercept is none. And if we remember our slope, if it's an up and down line, it's going to be undefined. And if it's an undefined line, that tells me that it's going to be an x equals line. It crosses the x-axis at -5, so our line is x equals -5. All right, so this line right here, we've got our y-intercept, which right here is a +1. For our slope, we know that this is a horizontal line, which means that our slope is 0. And so now we can plug this into y equals mx plus b. So it's y equals, our slope is 0. Then we write our x, and our b is +1 since it is positive. But one thing that we know is we know that anything times 0 is 0, and it's going to go away. So I'm left with y equals 1 as my equation of this line.